In this video, we are going to take a look at what are checked and unchecked exceptions in Java. So let's take a look at what are checked exceptions first. So if you write a piece of code that is logically correct but can fail in certain scenarios, then you need to handle those scenarios, right? So for example, if you write code which reads a file and suppose at runtime the file is not available, then it will throw an exception. So you can handle this by catching a file not found exception. So the basic idea behind checked exceptions is that in your code, you may be aware of certain scenarios in which the code can fail. Okay, so your code is logically correct. I mean, you don't have any problem with your code, but the thing is, at runtime, certain things may happen. For example, there may be a certain input which can break the flow. So if you are aware, you can handle those scenarios and those fall under checked exceptions. So these you can handle using try catch block, for instance, or you can throw it so that another piece of code can handle it. Okay. Let's see what are runtime exceptions. Suppose you write a piece of code which is logically not correct. Okay. Say you write code that does not use an API correctly, then your code is buggy. So the difference here is that you are writing a code which is logically not correct. So you may be having some problem with the API call or the way you have implemented the code. So no point handling exception here, right? Because the thing is you need to know what is the problem, where your logic is not right. So to debug that, to know about that, you want the error to be printed in the log. Okay, and you can make the corrections accordingly to the code. So you are not going to handle such exceptions. Okay, the application can catch this exception, but it probably makes more sense to eliminate the bug that caused the exception to occur. So the idea is that you find the root cause why the code is failing. It's not about some runtime problem or some input. It's more about the piece of code that you have written here. Okay. Now, what are errors? So when the exception is beyond your application's scope, for instance, there is some hardware issue, say at runtime some IO error occurs. So in that case, it's beyond your control, right? You are not going to handle such errors. It's beyond JVM actually. So such problems come under the category of errors. So both runtime and error are unchecked. You don't need to handle them. I hope this gives you an idea about these three classification of exception types and what is the difference between them. Okay, thanks.